Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Alpha Core GT Gaming and here we are in Italy for round number 13 of this Formula 1 season. We've had to choose a championship rival, as you can see, so we've chosen Nico Rosberg. It was the only really logical choice we could do because he was the closest to us, and it was pointless challenging someone else who's lower down. And if we're going to get a team off, we may as well get it from Mercedes for next season, so we'll see how that goes. As you can see, we're getting the car in practice and it's pouring down again, so we've got another interrupted practice session here in Monza, so we're not going to be able to get much setup work done again. So I thought, well, let's just go out in the car and just see how it is and see how ridiculous these conditions are. And you can see it's like a lake out there. I think there's less water in the Atlantic Ocean at the moment. So yeah, well, we're just setting the fastest lap time there. It's not really representative because I don't think the AI really did some lap times on in this practice session, but we went with a low downforce setup, and because of this session again, we couldn't really do much about the setup. We just had to kind of best guess and see how we did. And I think because of this session as well, and the way we went on the setup, it kind of affected our race performance a little bit and made the race very difficult, especially because I don't know if everyone who plays this track has noticed this, but when you're at Monza, you've got to run low downforce, and there's lots of long straights and not many real corners to heat the tyres up, which means that when you're going through those corners, when you're braking, the tyres are cold. The tyres are stone cold, and there's not really a way of heating them up because there's not really corners to heat them up in, so the tyres are stone cold, which makes the car really slippery and prone to stepping out and really low on traction, and it makes the car very difficult to drive. So if the race had been wet, then obviously we could have run a high downforce setup, but the forecast for qualifying and the race was completely dry, so it was pointless even trying to run a high downforce setup because we'd make ourselves like a sitting duck for anybody trying to overtake us, or if we were trying to attack people in the race. So it was kind of essential to go with a low downforce setup, but we didn't get much time to test it, so it meant that really we kind of were a bit of an unknown in the race again. So it was another one of those sessions where we really struggled to find a decent setup that was perfect because of the conditions. But here we are coming up the line in qualifying, and we've done a good enough lap for second place with 7.5 tenths off Sutil, who's flown round in a 1:37.4. I think it's because the AI tend to run like 6.6 wings, and they don't seem to tend to change the setup very much, so it does help them in both the dry and the wet because they kind of have a middle ground setup, so they can just kind of be on both, and it seems to help them a little bit. You can see we finished that session there with third place ahead of Nico Rosberg, who was in 6th, and you can see now qualifying 1 is absolutely bone dry. There's not a drop of rain in sight, and now it's the task of trying to find the lap time and the pace on a circuit that we don't even know in the dry. So the only running we've done is in the soaking wet, so it's time to try and find the time in these corners and just learn the track in the dry. So coming round for our 5th lap on this set of tyres. I think we're on the prime tyres at the moment. We're in rich mix. We've done a 1:28.379, which is good enough for 12th place. Obviously you only have to get 17th or above in qualifying. When you see there the car just stepping out, we had to use that technique around the first corner quite a lot because otherwise it wasn't turning in. So first sector, what have we got? Alonso's got a 29.430. Let's see what we can match that with. So we've done a 29.5, which is a 10th off Alonso, which is nearly a 10th quicker than our previous best sector. Coming through the first Lesmo in third gear, up to fourth on the exit, down to third on the entry of the second Lesmo, up to fourth as you're leaving it. So it all looks pretty tidy at the moment. We've got a 58.1. We've got a match to get ourselves up there with Alonso. So the low downforce will help us now because we've got lots of speed on the straights, and these tyres tend to be warm coming during qualifying because you're really pushing to the limits of the tyres. We're 4 tenths down on Alonso at the moment, but we're 4 tenths up on our previous lap time. So we've made a lot of inroads on that sector. I'm currently in 12th, so we've got to improve because otherwise we will be dropping out of this session probably. So into Parabolica, down to third just to get the turn in, then to fourth. Let the car run out wide, but not too wide so you touch the white line. Heading towards the line, accelerating away. We've done a 1:27.974, which is still good enough for 12. So we haven't improved. We're still a 10th off Kvyat, and our championship rival finished in third, and Felipe, our teammate, finished in 9th. Hamilton first place in that session by less than a 10th from second place. But qualifying 2, I think we're going to have to go on the option tyres because the primes just aren't going to be quick enough. So we're going to have to switch to the faster compound of tyre just to get ourselves through here, because otherwise we could be going out in qualifying 2 because we just haven't got the pace at the moment due to the fact that we just had no run-in. There's no run-in and the setup's not perfect, so we have just to see how we do in this session and just try and pick up more speed and just try and take out a little bit of time from every corner we go through. Hopefully with the extra grip these tyres have got, we should be okay. All the way down to first, you can see we just flick the car in, the back end will step out a little bit. It was actually quite neat that time. Steps out on the exit though. Short shifting through the gears in coming out of that first chicane, down the long Curva Grande. It's sort of a straight, it's sort of a corner. You can go flat out through it, so it's a bit like a straight. But down to second gear, I think we'll go. Just you see the car just doesn't turn in third, so you go out to second. It just gives you that kick as it turns in. We've done a purple first sector. I don't know how that compares to. I think it's 2.5 tenths quicker than our previous our qualifying 1 sector that was. But we should be gaining time through here because we've got extra grip on these option tyres coming through this sector, so it should give us some extra grip and some extra turning, especially through the Sky chicane. You should be able to take this a lot quicker than we did on the prime tyres. 57.7, so that's quicker than Alonso's time in qualifying 1. So we have improved. We've improved by a bit. I don't know how much though. And again, coming through Parabolica, we should have some extra performance from the grip of the tyre, so it should turn in a bit better. So it should give us some more time. So I think we carried a bit more speed through the corner that time, and we're coming towards the start-finish line now. 5th gear, 6th gear, 7th gear, and what have we got? A 26.5. So a big improvement, about 1.5 seconds over our qualifying 1 time. So you can see the option tyres have given us a little bit more performance. We're down to lean mix. We've given up on this lap now because we don't want to wreck the tyres. Those are the tyres we will start the race on, so we've got to keep them in good condition so we don't do too many laps on them. You see we finished a tiny bit off Felipe. Rosberg in second place, our championship rival, and Lewis Hamilton in first. So an improvement. We got through by about 3 tenths. So Jenson Button's gone out along with Sergio Perez and Kvyat, Vernon, Maldonado and Gutierrez. So we've lost all those guys. Button's teammate Magnussen just about made it through. And now it's qualifying 3, and we've just got to see how much more performance these tyres have got, because we can't really start down in 9th place because we don't want to be this far back, because we don't want to lose this many points to our championship rival. But it doesn't seem like we have the pace at the moment, so our pace isn't that good. But I say it's all about learning the track and getting up to speed. So we might pick up more speed in this qualifying session. You never know, and the track might be ramping up and there might be more grip in this session as well. Because obviously we've been in wet track. It should have evolved over the weekend and turned in very well for that corner. So we're using that technique of going down to first and just letting the car slide around a bit, but it's also giving us time in the first corner. So it looks a bit messy, but it's giving us time. And again, we're through the next chicane here, we're using the technique of just going down to second, flicking it in, letting it sort itself out really. It was a lot neater that time though than on the previous session, so we're a bit up on our qualifying 2 time, so this is looking good so far. There's been no dramas. Can we get around this second Lesmo in very nicely? So we get a lot of speed for that Lesmo, and it looks like a very good lap so far. This could be a big improvement on our qualifying 2 performance. So what was it, 57 point something? So it's a 56.7. It's nearly a second quicker than our qualifying 2 time. We found a second, and we're coming through this Ascari chicane, and we're coming down the back straight now, and we're a second up on our previous time, which was a 26.5, was it? So it's a very, very quick time. We might be able to find some more time in Parabolica as well if we get turned in. So we carry a nice entry to the corner, and we get on the power early, which has given us even more time. So I think this is going to be a very, very quick lap time. And what have we got? It's a 25.2, which is 1.3 seconds quicker than qualifying 2, which is very fast. So that should put us up there in the top table. So you can see we finished in 3rd place. We were only like less than 2/10 off Nico Rosberg, and we were a second quicker than Felipe. So the time we found in qualifying 3 was ridiculous. We've absolutely just turned it on, and we're up to 3rd place, and we're ahead of the 2 Red Bulls and the Ferraris. So we've got the performance where it matters, even though the setup's not perfect and we didn't know the track, and we found the performance in Q3, which has put us up to 3rd place. So we were told we had to finish 7th or above, and there we are. We're in 3rd place, which is an absolutely ridiculous result for us. I never expected that. We didn't have the pace. So we're getting into the car for the race now, and after that qualifying session, it's game on, because we're at the front of the grid. We're on 2nd row, just behind the 2 Mercedes, and one of them's our championship rival. So it's game on. It's absolutely game on. I think Rosberg took pole there, so you can see teammate challenge absolutely battering Felipe there still. So we're going to start on the option tyres and go to the primes, so we're going to hopefully keep up with these guys in the first stint. So Rosberg, Hamilton, us, Ricciardo, Vettel, Alonso, Raikkonen, Hülkenberg, Massa and Magnussen. That's the top 10. And then the bottom 10 of them is Button, Perez, Kvyat, Verne, Maldonado, Gutierrez, Grosjean, Bianchi, Kobayashi and Sutil, with Marcus Ericsson and Max Chilton propping up the grid. So we were hoping that improvement for the car would come in this race, the downforce improvement. But here's the setup: 2-in-1 wings, 48-52 high and standard, 11-11 roll bars, 1-1-11-1 on the suspension, and then the engine's at 98% because we put a new one in, and that's the alignment. So this was just like a guesswork setup. We just literally didn't have time to test it. We just put that setup on and saw how it went. So it's done pretty well so far to get us in 3rd place, but maybe in a dry session we would have had more work on it and been able to stabilise the car a bit more and work on it and get the car to be more perfect for this race. But I'm not really going to complain, because 3rd place is a very good result in qualifying. And here we are going to the grid, and you've got Nico Rosberg in 1st along with Lewis Hamilton. We're in 3rd place, as you can see, so very good result. Our teammate in 9th, almost a second off us. We're waiting for those 5 red lights. We're going to lean mix because we don't want to wheel spin. It's quite a long run to the first corner, but we're going to lean. 5 lights and we're away. We get a decent getaway to start with, but the Mercedes start to pull away, and I think Ricciardo's attacking us on the left, and Vettel as well. So Vettel's gone round us. Ricciardo's on our right, but Vettel's just got round us there. We brake quite late, and we're going to try and find a gap for these 2 guys. We've squeezed in between Hamilton and Rosberg. We've got the move done on Hamilton, but Rosberg's held on to first place. But Hamilton's come back at us as well, so Hamilton's still in 2nd place. He's got a good run out of that corner, out of the first chicane. We're going to go round the outside of Hamilton on Curva Grande, and we've got the slipstream of Rosberg. We have to back off a little bit. See the speedo drops, but then we're going to dive up the inside of Rosberg, and we take the position from him. Rosberg tries to hang it round, but we give him enough room, but he runs off the track. Probably the first of a couple of incidents in this race with Rosberg, but I think the same thing happened in Spain, but Rosberg tried to hang it out and then gave up. And that's put us in the 1st place. So lap number 1, after the first few corners, we're in 1st place. And how much pace have we got now that we're in 1st place is the question. Hamilton is in 2nd, Vettel's in 3rd. Rosberg's dropped back because of that incident. Not much we could have done. We couldn't really disappear, so we just held our line and gave Rosberg a little bit of room on the outside, but he backed out. First time through Ascari, it's very difficult trying to get their speed through it. Hamilton's only 6 tenths behind us, so it's a very close race so far already. And Vettel's a little bit further back. We've gone to lean mix for Parabolica just so, because we're not really accelerating coming out this corner. And then once you leave the corner, we go to rich mix and make sure we don't get any wheel spin there as we come out of it. So rich mix, and we go to the right just to keep Hamilton out of our slipstream. He's staying on the left, as you can see in the mirror there. A 1:33.114 is the opening lap, and Rosberg's half a second off Vettel. And when DRS comes into play, I expect Rosberg to pass him again, but He lost out because he tried to hold on to position in that chicane on the first lap. So Rosberg again with a kind of questionable racing tactic there, because he could have backed out of it. He probably would still had second place, but instead he tried to hang it around the outside and has ended up in 4th place. We're down to second gear for that corner, up to 3rd, up to 4th, waiting for the first Lesmo, down to 3rd gear from 5th here. So we're a little bit run a little bit wide on that corner, down to 3rd gear for the second Lesmo, 4th gear as you hit that curve on the inside, just so you get the exit. You get a nice exit from that corner. Down this back straight, you can see that Rosberg has got the move done on Vettel, so he's now challenging his teammate Hamilton, who's backed off quite a lot. So Hamilton and Rosberg seem to be fighting already, even though Rosberg. Why is it showing Vettel as 3rd? It's clearly Rosberg. There we go. So Rosberg is now in 3rd place. It was showing Vettel as 3rd place there. So hopefully those two guys behind me are going to battle a little bit and hold each other up and let us get a little bit of air. But I don't really count on it, because the Mercedes are very, very quick on this game, and they were in real life in 2014. So I expect them to be challenging us all the way through this race. So you're coming down to the first chicane here. You've got a break at around about 125 metre board and all the way down to 1st gear at the last second. And then you've got a short shift coming out of this chicane, just so you don't wheel spin. Rosberg's done a 1:27.1 there, so he's done the fastest lap of the race, which is half a second quicker than us. Hamilton's right on the back of us, so we've got 2 Mercedes stuck to us like glue already. And we're coming down to the chicane, 2nd gear. I think it's Della Roggia chicane, that one. So 2nd gear, 3rd gear, and then 4th gear, 5th gear, then back down to 3rd for the first Lesmo. You can see, just try and get turned into that curve on the right and don't run out too wide. 4th gear, 5th gear, down to 3rd again. Again, as you hit the inside curve, go to 4th and try and get a good exit, because it's a long straight and there is going to be DRS on this lap, I think. So Hamilton and Rosberg very, very close to us. They're within a second, both of them. And Hamilton's had a look but then backed out, and 3/10 separates the top 3 cars. Hamilton has backed out so much that Rosberg's taken the position from him, so now Rosberg's in 2nd place. So Hamilton backing out of his attack on us has allowed Rosberg through, so our championship rival is just behind us now. And you can hear the engineer. The engineer is saying there, keep the tyres warm, because the tyres are cold. It's almost impossible unless we start weaving on the straights, but and then we'll lose time and lose speed. So I don't know what we're supposed to do, because we've got no tyre temperature at the moment, and this is on the option, so God knows what the primes are going to be like. Ricciardo with a 1:26.9, we've improved our time by a 10, so we're at 1:27.5, so we're still about half a second off those leading cars in terms of pace, outright pace, but it's pretty good at the moment. We're in 1st place and we've got a little bit of a gap to Rosberg, and we've only got a last 2 more laps or so on these tyres before we got to pit in. We're now 3/10 up on our fast lap time, so we found another 3.5 tenths. So we found a bit more time, and we're 2.2 ahead of Rosberg. So hopefully we can hang on to this into the first pit stop somehow. But as you can see by the pace, the Mercedes and the Ferraris and the Red Bulls are about half a second, 3/10 to 5/10 quicker than us. So we found another 10th in the middle sector there. So even though we've done that, Rosberg's found 6/10 on us. So he's absolutely flying behind us. But we found nearly half a second in this lap. So we should be looking at the low 1:27s in this lap. Let's have a look what we got. We're a little bit wide, so we couldn't get on the power coming out of Parabolica, but coming down to the finish line, what have we got? Have we lost any time there? So you see we lost about 2/10 in Parabolica, and we've done a 1:27.2. Rosberg, another 6/10 has closed in on us. Hamilton's now only 5/10 behind Rosberg, and Ricciardo's following him by a second. Look at that, 1 second quicker than us. So Rosberg, even without DRS, is a second quicker than us in outright pace. So he's going to be coming on us really quickly. He's going to be coming up behind us very, very close. So down to the lean mix for Della Roggia. We're again purple in the first sector, so we got a lot of pace in the first sector, but I think that the high downforce that the AI are running in the middle sector is keeping them with us, so it's giving them the extra pace in the lap. We're coming for the second Lesmo. Can we get a good exit? Yes, we can. We've got a decent exit from that one. Rosberg, I think, is within DRS range of us now. No, so he's very close, and he probably has got DRS. And there's only one more lap after this before we've got to pit in. So Rosberg just outside DRS, but he's got more pace through Ascari because of the downforce he's got. And we're 3.5 tenths up again on this lap time on the previous lap. So surely we can get into the 126s here. Can we nail Parabolica? Can we do it? We lost a bit of speed through the middle of it, so we probably lost a bit of time there coming for that corner. So what have we got? Whoa, we actually gained time, so it's a 126.7, which is only half a second slower than Rosberg's fastest lap time. So we've still got some pace, even though we're on these option tyres, and Ricciardo just absolutely blitzes us. Look at that, 125.934. Ricciardo finds 8 tenths on our lap time. So that's got to be I think that's with DRS. You can see they've got Hamilton, you got Rosberg right behind us, and Hamilton, and then Ricciardo. So I think Ricciardo's using the DRS at that point. So yeah, that's probably where his lap times come from. Remember, we haven't got any DRS because we're in the lead, and Rosberg is now 4 tenths behind us with Hamilton 1.1 behind him. And we just got to get to the pits. We've got to get to the pit lane now and get the next set of tyres on, because we don't want them undercutting us or overcutting us with their tyre strategy. So we're going to just get ourselves to the pit lane and just defend for our lives, because this Mercedes behind us is so quick. He's got to run on us into the Ascari, and we're going to have to hold it on the inside, and we brake, and we're side by side, and Rosberg's gone off the track, so I've got the off-board footage of that, but it's not in this race, obviously, but I could have included that. But Rosberg and us were side by side, and Rosberg literally turned in as though we weren't there, so we didn't really have anywhere to go. We left him a car's width on the exit, but Rosberg turned in and decided that we just didn't exist. So Rosberg has now, for the second time this race, basically done himself over, and he's now dropped back into 6th place. So he's lost a bunch of places by going to the gravel trap in Ascari there. And because of that, we've lost a lot of time to Ricciardo as well. As you can see, we lost 1.8 seconds on that lap. So it wasn't a particularly quick lap, but after that happened, we lost even more time and got under attack from Hamilton. And now Ricciardo's stuck to the back of us, and we didn't go into the pit lane, because if we did, we would have been probably held up by Hamilton and everybody else who dived in. So we're going to go one more lap, and hopefully we're still going to have enough gap to come out ahead in first place. So we've improved by 1/10.5. So I think we were purple on our last lap in the first sector. So we've improved by 1/10.5 again. So we've still got the pace. These tyres are cold. They haven't really worn because of the cold. They haven't been really overheating or anything. Because of the cold, they've kind of kept in good condition. And Ricciardo is right on the back of us with DRS, but we've got enough straight line speed down here. His engine just doesn't seem to have the power that ours does. Half a second, and we get through Ascari pretty nicely this time. Shifting up to 6 on the exit. You can see we've got a bit of a slide on, lost a bit of grip coming on the exit. We're not really going to see what this lap time is, because it might be pretty quick. We'll have a look. It might be all right, but I think you slow down before you get to the finish line by quite a lot. So I think if it kept going, it probably would have been at 126 point or 127 point something. But you can see that slow right down, and 1.2 ahead of Ricciardo, who's followed us into the pit lane now. And did Rosberg extended his run as well? So Rosberg's followed us on strategy. We've come out ahead of these guys. They've actually looked like they've been held up a little bit. And Ricciardo's come out ahead of Rosberg, so that's good news. We don't want Rosberg right behind us. And as we're coming down towards the first corner, and it looks like Hamilton's going to close right up on us. So we're being very careful on these prime tyres, because they're pretty cold at the moment, and I don't expect them to heat up very much either. So we've come into the first chicane. We've gone very slowly, but we still kept ahead of Hamilton. So we gained a little bit of time by staying out an extra lap. And now it's just the job of getting these tyres up to temperature, and just hoping that we've got enough pace to hang on in this race. So Ricciardo lost an absolute bag of time. You can see we're 1.4 ahead of Hamilton, so we gained on him, but Ricciardo's lost 3.7 seconds. So he was right behind us, like less than a second. So he's lost about 3 seconds during the pit stops, which has allowed us to get away a little bit. And we've got Hamilton just behind us, and we've got a bit of a gap on Ricciardo, which is great news, considering I don't expect to be very fast on these tyres. You see, because Hamilton's got I don't know, where he's got so much more pace, and he's got a warmer set of tyres. We've had to go defensive. We cut to the left and cut him off, but Hamilton has just found like a second and a half in the middle of the lap on his prime tyres. We get a very good exit though onto the straight from Parabolica, and we're coming down the straight now, and it's 4 tenths. We kept to the right because we don't want Hamilton to use slipstream and DRS. We've got a lean mix now for the first corner, just to try and stabilise the car. Or actually, we've pulled away from Ricciardo a bit more, so it's just Hamilton and these Mercedes. They're just so quick. It seems like they're the only car that can really challenge us. I mean, when we've been in a race with Ricciardo, like in Hockenheim, for example, we beat him on outright pace. We could beat him, but these Mercedes just seem to have that a little bit extra. I don't know, like half a second or maybe a little bit more in terms of pace, and they seem to be able to just pull away. So I don't know how many more improvements our car's got, but the only reason we've really beaten the Mercedes in some of these races is down to them failing or coming together with each other. So we're in the lead at the moment, and I think last race in Spa, Rosberg finished like half a second behind us, so it looks like it's probably going to be something like that again, if we can get to the end ahead of these two guys. But remember, this is Monza, and it's got a very long set of straights, so we're very vulnerable to these guys because they've got high downforce in the middle of the lap, which brings them close to us and brings them into the DRS zone, which is making us quite vulnerable. The only defence we've got is our low downforce in the straight, so we're running like low wings and rich mix, so it might just be enough. We've done a 127.136 for lap number 9, now on to lap number 10. You see Hamilton's within 4 tenths still, and Ricciardo's now 5.2 back, so again, we got the pace on Ricciardo even on the primes, and Rosberg 1.1 back from him. We could do with Ricciardo holding Rosberg up some more, because even with 3 laps to go after this, so we've got 4 laps at the moment, with 3.5 coming up. I think we are going to be vulnerable to Rosberg coming through on a charge, and if Hamilton doesn't get us anyway, so I'm going to have 2 Mercedes following me towards the end of this race by the look of it. You see, we're having to wait to put the power down through the Lesmos because we just haven't got the same downforce that Hamilton has, and then he's just absolutely monstering those corners, but we're pulling away on the straights. He's got DRS on us though again this lap, so whether he's running lean mix or not, I don't know. So we're going to have to. We're being very careful not to cut Ascari, because it's so easy just to cut Ascari by just going down to 3rd gear and just turning in. The car just turns in more than you expect. It's either too little or too much that seems to happen, and you either run off wide or you run across the corner, which I don't really like doing because I want to stay on the track and I want it to be clean. So I'm being very careful not to cut that corner. So 127.1 we did in the last lap. We've done a 127.7, so it's a pretty slow lap. We've actually half a second down on our previous lap. And there's lap 11, lap 12 and lap 13 to go. Ricciardo is in 3rd place still, so he's still holding our championship rival up. And you can see we're just being very, very careful on the throttle coming through that section. So around Curva Grande, Hamilton is a little bit further back than last lap, so we've gained a little bit of time for the first chicane. Coming down to Della Roggia, down to 2nd gear, we run very deep on that one, so that's going to lose us a lot of time there. So we didn't get turned in. The brake, we just braked and the car just didn't seem to slow down, so we couldn't really turn in, otherwise we would have been spinning off. And you can see Hamilton is right on the back of us coming through the Lesmos. 2nd Lesmo now, 3rd gear, 4th gear, down the back straight. Hamilton's got DRS, but we've got rich mix, and it seems like Hamilton must be running like lean mix because he's not catching us, even though he's got DRS. So either that or his DRS is broken, but he's just not catching us down that straight. So we've got a little bit of a cushion because of that, and Rosberg's now taken Ricciardo, and he's up to 3rd place. So we've got to be watching out for him. There's only 2 laps to go, but if we make any mistakes, then he could be on top of us. He could be right behind us. So because we made that mistake in Della Roggia, it's going to be an even slower lap, I reckon. So it's a 127.9, so we're 2.275 slower than our last lap, and Hamilton is all of the back of us. He's going to have a look in the first chicane. We got a brake very late, and we just about keep Hamilton behind us. if he'd been any closer, I think we would have been challenged in the first corner there. But we see we've got a good advantage coming through this first sector. This first chicane we seem to be pretty quick, and we're now pulling away from Hamilton down the straight. He must have used up all his rich mix during the last few laps, so that's probably why he's kind of falling back from us a little bit, because we've been very careful on fuel, and you see we've still got +1 lap. Got a back marker up ahead. Rosberg's now 4.9 behind us, and there's a back marker just ahead of us. So coming down the back straight underneath the old banking, as you can see just above us now. We've just gone underneath it and into Ascari, down to third gear. So don't cut it too much. There you can see we've got 2 wheels on the track still. Through Ascari, up to 6th gear on the exit, 8 tenths ahead of Hamilton. Now, is this back marker going to get in the way? It's probably Max Chilton, because Max Chilton always seems to be the back marker that we always take first. So 5.1 to Rosberg, so we've gained a little bit of time from the middle sector. I think we've actually got the legs on them. I think we've got the legs on these guys for once. So even though they were pretty quick on the options, I think on the primes we're pretty good. You see there 26.9, so a very good lap time on the prime tyres there, and 5.2 to Rosberg. So we gained some time on Rosberg during this lap, and Rosberg's in clean air, so it's his actual genuine pace, and he's 2.7 ahead of Ricciardo. We're actually quicker than Rosberg on these prime tyres, which is pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Lap 13, coming around Curva Grande for the last time. We've got Hamilton quite close to us, but not. He hasn't really challenged us, to be honest, in this stint. We haven't really had to pull any real big defensive moves. But you can see we're approaching Chilton on the exit of De La Roggia into Lesmo 1, and he stays on the inside, which has made our entry to Lesmo 1 pretty awful. But he also holds Hamilton up, so even though Hamilton probably thought he could have had a chance to have an attack on us there, Chilton's absolutely destroyed the other Englishman's race, and it's given us a little bit of a gap. He actually cost us about 1.2 seconds there to Nico Rosberg, so it was pretty bad stuff from Max Chilton. He just didn't get out of the way. It's not as bad as in Austria, where we ended up clipping the back of him because he was parked on the racing line, but it's pretty bad, and it means that we've lost a little bit of time to Rosberg. Fortunately, though, we're far enough ahead, so it's not going to cost us the race win. We took it pretty easy through Sky, so Hamilton's closed up a little bit on the back of us, but we're coming into Parabolica now. We're going to take it pretty easy as well. Make sure we don't spin out or go wide. And this should be race win number 7 of the season. Back-to-back wins in Spa and Monza. We're coming over the line to take our 7th win of the season, and it's a pretty impressive result because we had the pace on the Mercedes on the prime tyres. So we finished quite a way ahead of Ricciardo as well. So it's pretty decent pace in the second part of the race, which I was quite impressed with. So here we are looking at the result here. We can see we weren't the fastest car. I think Nico Rosberg was the fastest, or Daniel Ricciardo. But we were about 7 tenths off it on the fast lap, but that was on the option tyres. We're leading the Drivers' Championship now by 64 points. Then Alonso's on 161 points, 89 points back. And Hamilton's fallen back from Vettel again, so he's a little bit behind Vettel at the moment. He's 5 points behind. And there's the Drivers' Championship, and there's the Constructors' Championship. We're 42 points behind Mercedes, so hopefully if Felipe can start picking up more points, then we will be able to catch them. So we're going to go to the paddock now and celebrate our 7th win of the season and our 2nd win in a row. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And leave me a comment, because I always love replying to you guys. And I'll see you soon in the next video.